Now then guys, welcome to yet another sit down by the Kaiser chat.
Before we just go for a bit of a change of scenery.
Yeah, well,
we've moved from the logo to Kaiser.
To Kaiser, yeah.
And next week we're going to go underneath the sign that's now on the wall.
The sign is up. That is awesome. And the reason why we kind of have moved it around is because there's a big tower up in front of our happy, friendly BearWolf logo. So we've kind of mixed it up in front of the Kaiser. And we're here today to talk about expectations. We've just finished recording the podcast, which is about a 40-minute extrapolated version of this kind of briefer conversation that we're going to condense down for you. And we're back. It's been a while since we've done one of these videos, so...
Oh yeah, voice is back.
Good to have you back.
Voice is back this week, so it's actually going to be worthwhile, hopefully.
So, without referring to the podcast too much, expectations, client expectations, why people aren't hitting their goals, or why they feel like they're not hitting goals. Do you think people put in the effort required to hit their goals?
Again, my personal opinion is I think that the goals are out of whack from the start. So they're setting themselves up for failure. And if they're overshooting for a goal that's slightly beyond them currently, then they're not going to be able to put the necessary work into in order to achieve that goal. So in effect, their expectations are out of whack. Does that make sense?
What do you think puts people's expectations out of whack a bit?
Again, we spoke about it quite in a lot of depth. We're talking about, I think social media as a big part to play in the fact that you're always led to believe that you can get results, or you can get something for nothing, or you can get results in short time frames with very little result. They'll kind of 12-week booty blaster and 8-week abs and all that kind of stuff. We both know, and I think a lot of the time, I suppose people are pretty clued up to know that that's probably a lot of bullshit. However, yet we still fall for it. There's still people that line the pockets of people that come out with these bullshit programs. So.
I think the quickest way of identifying bullshit is if someone is a self-proclaimed fitness guru. That tends to bode quite well. Someone's like, I'm a fitness guru. Distrust that person immediately.
Yeah. Said who?
Well, it's really easy to say stuff, right? That's what we've...
actions speak louder than words.
Exactly, and that applies to the whole expectation thing. It's really easy to say, I'm loose fat. But the actions are what really counts. If you're not hitting your goal, it's because you're not following the actions that you need to do. So you can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You can moan, you can whinge, you can make excuses. But it's not going to get you there. All that will ever get you moving forward is action. Positive action at that. So basically, I think the big takeaway points from our discussion earlier was people need to set a realistic goal that they can achieve, and that's a difficult question to answer because it's kind of along that realm of how long is a piece of string. But they also need to resign themselves to the fact that it's going to be tough.
Yeah, we spoke in a lot of detail. Just is the fact that no one in the world got anything or successful in anything without making any sacrifice or without putting any work in. And I think people just need to resign themselves to the fact that it's going to be uncomfortable at times, and they need to be willing from the outset to be able to make change. And if they're not in that position, then they need to reassess the goal straight away. I think, and as well, I think that my big takeaway from what we talked about was that people need to stop talking about stress as this bad thing. Like, stress can be a bad thing. I think the lack of recovery from stress is the worst thing. But stress is kind of your friend in the gym. Like, you're trying to stress your body out. It's the purpose of training.
So that you can grow and you can develop. Like, we need to stop being frightened of stress. We need to stop stopping when we feel stress.
What do you mean when they feel stress?
Like when you're and this is purely from a training perspective. I appreciate people manage with stress differently, but like in the gym, you're stressing your body out. You're trying to break your body down. That means you're going to be incredibly uncomfortable at points. It's training. It's just going to happen. It's
part and parcel of that adaptation that is relative to any goal. So if that's muscle gain, if that's fat loss, you're looking to put the body under stress so it can adapt accordingly.
Man, that might be something like yoga.
Yeah.
Like
going for a deep stretch.
Getting better in a position, you're going to have to find yourself in uncomfortable positions. Yeah. Like the moment you kind of go, yeah, this is I'm going into this set and it's going to suck. Like, I'm not going to be really happy and loving it. I'll feel great after. But like during it, I will want to stop numerous times, but I'm not gonna. I think that is the kind of, that's the key. And designing it to that.
I suppose the other thing as well, just to tag on top of that point, is the fact that not everyone, if we're talking about people that are just starting out in the gym, they're not going to go straight into hitting that level of intensity.
No.
However, in order to be able to get greater results further down the line, as we discussed in the podcast, as results become harder and harder to achieve. So imagine we're on a fat loss journey. We use the example of someone's got a significant amount of weight to lose. They'll start off and it'll be relatively small changes will yield pretty significant results. But over time, there's going to have to be greater change or greater stress put on the body or greater sacrifices when it comes to nutrition, all that kind of stuff outside of the gym environment in order for people to be able to yield results. As you try and get more and more success, as you start to get deeper into this journey, over time, it's going to require more and more processes of being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable in the training environment, making uncomfortable decisions from a social perspective. I might not be able to go out if I really truly want to be able to be successful in achieving this goal, or I reassess the goal because me going out on a social occasion is more important than me hitting that goal. It's unrealistic. Yeah. But yeah, not every single person is going to straight into doing a max effort set and feeling that level of uncomfortability. However, that could be a novice going into the gym and working on their air squat, holding the bottom position on an air squat is going to be pretty intense. In terms of that individual's experience at that time, it's not going to be a comfortable position that they're in. And that's a requirement for them to be able to go through in order for them to be able to squat more weight in the future, to be able to progress further, to be able to lift more load, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's getting to know your body, isn't it? And that takes time and experience, but I would stress to everyone to make the most of their time. Like, the harder you try, like, exercise and training is, like, brutally honest. If you don't put the time in, you don't get better.
Yep.
If you work hard at it, you will get better in a rate that represents that.
Is that just it's not even unique to just training, though, isn't it? And we discussed earlier, it's the fact that for some reason people have this warped vision when it comes to fitness and training that they would never really apply to other parts of their life. So they wouldn't expect to get a promotion without putting work in and never being at the office. Does it make sense? Like, I want to get a pay rise, I want to be able to go to the next tier of management, but I've had about 3 weeks worth of sick leave this year.
Yeah,
like, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? That's never going to happen, is it? Just be a realist.
But I don't want to show up on time.
Yeah. All right. Like, so why would you say I want to get great fat loss results, but I'm not willing to go to the gym ever, and I don't want to make any changes to my nutrition?
Yeah.
Well,
people do it though.
Yeah, they have that expectation. But I suppose our job is not to be the enemy. Our job is not to be able to kind of be the bad guy. Our job is to be the people that are realists and the people that tell people how it is.
Yeah.
I've always been known as a person who would tell it how it is. I don't blow smoke up people's arse and bullshit. If I don't feel like you're working hard enough and you're not doing enough relative to the goal you've chosen from the outset you want to achieve, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
However, if you are doing the right things, you are doing a great job, guess what I'm also going to do? I'm going to give you a nice tap on the back and say, well done, keep it going. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's our job.
Still more to achieve.
Still more to go, but yeah, people, get out your own way.
Yeah, get out your own way, take some ownership, and put the effort in. Trust, that's from 2 fitness gurus that are telling you that. Cool. Right, so we will see you later. That's a nice summary. If you want to hear more from me and Scott on this subject, download episode 3 of the BearWolf Training Podcast. You can find that on the iTunes podcast or whatever that is. Cool.
iTunes.
Take
on
care,
iTunes.
See you later.
The Apple iTunes podcast store.